of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will call the meeting to order. And the first point of order will be happy birthday to the U.S. Navy, 246 years old today.
Homer.
Okay. So we've got the agenda, and the first order of business is going to be public announcements, which details may be found at www.fairfieldme.com. For the November 2nd, 2021 election, absentee ballot applications are available online and via phone. Absentee ballots will be available from October 4th till October 28th. The annual Household Hazardous Waste Day will take place Saturday, October 16th at the Winslow Public Works Garage. Residents of Fairfield must pre-register by contacting the Fairfield Town Office to participate. Lawrence Public Library will be hosting a Halloween event on Friday, October 29th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Fairfield Police Department will be hosting Trunk or Treat October 30th from 5 to 8 p.m. on Esklin Drive in Fairfield. Second order of business is public hearings, and we have none tonight. Third order of business, public comments, which is 3-minute limit or equivalents. Members of the public may email comments for council at info@fairfieldme.com by 4 p.m. the day of the meeting on any topic or agenda item. Items may be read aloud at this time. Were there any items? None. There being none, we'll move on to the fourth order of business. Reports from staff and committees. First report will be the town manager report.
All right, so on September 23rd, I attended the Somerset Economic Development Corporation's meeting. Also that day, there was a meeting held with Heather Johnson, the state's Economic Community Development Commissioner, and members of her staff. The meeting was hosted by KRDA to discuss business attraction to the area and ways in which we could help tap into some of the state's COVID recovery funds, the ARPA funds that the state got. So, October 5th, we signed the updated easements for the solar array on the closed landfill. These were tree clearing easements that involved T properties and the town. What needed to sign as well due to our landfill permits. The Fairfield Economic Community Development Committee had a scheduled meeting for October 5th, which Councilor Thibodeau will discuss with you. October 6th, I attended the business after hours at Ware Butler. October 7th, attended the chamber breakfast. The guest speaker there was the state treasurer, Henry Beck. That was billed as having a bunch of information regarding revenue sharing. It really didn't. It was more about the state's bonding process and that kind of stuff, but there was a little bit of interesting information. October 12th, the credit enhancement agreement for the housing project on Mountain Ave was signed. And an update on some of our projects. Signs have been created for the fish ponds and should be installed shortly regarding the contamination and warning against eating fish. Inland Fisheries and Wildlife produced those signs. They are planned, excuse me, are still planning on stocking the ponds this fall. That will not be done until the signs are in place and the informational material that the CDC has been working on is posted and ready to go. They plan to use this location for a laboratory of sorts to measure the uptake of PFAS in fish. They have some limited data that came from limestone, but they're really looking forward to seeing what it looks like here, knowing for the fact that these fish that are here are farm raised and came from a controlled environment. So what will the uptake be like in these creatures? And the educational opportunity for children to learn how to fish still exists at these ponds. There just simply would be a catch and release kind of piece. We've received an update on the public drinking water expansion investigation that Dirigo Engineering is doing. Preliminary estimates are around $40 million. The report is being put together in sections or phases. They are making great progress. And it is done so that it depending on the volume of funding that we can receive from the feds, we can determine where we actually expand to. So pretty much, public drinking water expansion on almost every street is broken down in a cost structure component. So they're making great strides on that, and hopefully, our plan is so that our document is ready as soon as the feds pass this transportation bill, which has the PFAS funds in it, so that we'll be ready to roll immediately for grant requests. And then the last 2 weeks have included substantial review of the solar plans for the closed landfill. They have received the remainder of their supplies and are ready to start construction. DEP is currently reviewing their designs as well that are required for landfill permit amendments for the installation to be installed. But they plan to I think are starting tree clearing this week that they needed to do, and should hopefully, by the end of the month, actually be able to start construction. So it'll be good. It's a long-awaited project. To kind of see that to fruition is a good thing. So that's it for me.
Okay. Is there any questions or?
Can we have questions about the manager's report?
Sure.
Okay, I read through this before this meeting. I just have a question for Dwayne. I know Dwayne's in the audience. I read here that the fire department is going to start doing COVID tests again for temperature and mask wearing. Where's this going to take place?
For visitors, yes.
For visitors. Yep.
Just visitors. How about for us to?
Well, the employees will, first thing, when they first come in on shift. Yeah.
Okay. How about for the people who come Friday to pick up water?
Same thing. And it's because of the healthcare mandates that they have for their vaccination?
Because since we're visitors too.
They won't need their temperatures taken because that's considered outdoors. You can go right there out on an apron.
Okay, you're
They're
going.
not coming into the building.
Okay, so you're going to have an EMT right there, take temps?
No, we don't have to do their temps.
Okay.
We're just going to sign up and we would request.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I know that received this information, just the public awareness too. You didn't-
Oh, those kind of things will be posted and
Okay.
and that sort of stuff.
All right,
Yeah.
just want to make sure.
Yep, that's exactly what has to happen. So,
Anyone else? No? Okay, we'll move on to the committee reports. We'll go to Stephanie.
Well, the Economic Committee met last week, and we didn't have a quorum again. And so what we're going to do is at our next council meeting, come to you for some direction with what we've been doing and where we should go.
Okay.
And Garvin Donegan from the Central Maine Growth Council will
Yep.
be here as well. So,
Yeah, well,
More
one
to
of the
come.
things, again, it's a situation of participation and volunteers, and it doesn't have to be, anybody that owns a business or anything. It can be any volunteer who just cares about the town. And we've got tremendous, beautiful waterfront that we can do stuff in and things like that. And we've got lots of downtown that we work in. We just need people to gather on. Been doing this for, 15 years, and
so
we need
more
to
to
move
come
forward. Yes.
at our next meeting.
We got a nice opportunity to expand, and we need all the volunteers we can get.
Yes.
Any other committee reports? Nothing? Okay. We'll move on to our fifth order of business then. That's a consent agenda. Now, these items are considered routine or standard business and therefore will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member so requests prior to consideration of this portion of the agenda, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and then considered next on the agenda. All right, item 21-127, which is ordered that the town of Fairfield, that the Fairfield Town Council hereby waives a reading of and accepts the minutes for meeting 2021-16 held on September 22nd, 2021. The second item is 21-128, which is ordered that the Town Council hereby approves the Treasurer's Warrant Number 22 General Fund in the amount of $874,263.80. Not limited to, but including MSAD 49 workers' comp employee health insurance, Motor Vehicle, Hopkins Paving, Bono Excavation, Kennebec Water District, and Minuteman Security.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? There being none, all in favor? Carried. Then we'll move into our sixth order of business, which is to take action on the following items of business as read by the council chair. Ordered that the town council hereby amends the town council administrative policy fee schedule, FOA-copies, 8.5 by 11, 10 cents in accordance with the statute updates from the MRSA Chapter 408-A, subsection Chapter 8A.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Okay, all in favor? Carries full. Item 21-130, order that the town council hereby accepts the resignation of Greg McNeil, who serves on the planning board.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
Just want to thank him for his service.
Service, yes,
He was on the
definitely.
planning board for 10 years. That's read on their minutes, so.
I'm sure he'll be
Yeah.
missed.
He was vice chair and got another position.
Yep, well, we need, so we'll need some people. All in favor? Carries full. Item 21-131, order that the town council hereby appoints Perry Waltz for the remainder of a 5-year term set to expire at the date and time of the town council organizational meeting in January 2022 to the planning board. Board, in accordance with this board's rotation structure, and hereby declares vacancy. Planning board, all for the remainder of a 5-year term set to expire at the date and time of the town council organizational meeting in January 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Anybody any questions? Michael?
Yeah, it says the remainder of a five-year term set to expire at the date and time of 2022, and then it says for the remainder of a 5-year term set to expire in 2026.
That's the alternate
Oh,
position.
the alternate position.
Because by having Perry Waltz move up into a regular position, he vacates the alternate position that he held that
Okay.
expired in 2026.
All right.
So what you're doing is you're moving him up into the permanent position, creating the vacancy in the alternate position, so that we will now take applications for the alternate.
Very good.
Anybody else?
So the job of the alternate is to be called upon when somebody can't make a meeting.
Correct.
Correct.
They're typically involved just as much as the regular members are. They're just not a voting member of the group, so they get all the packets, they get all the information, so they're prepared to be a voting member at the time if they need it.
Anybody else? All in favor? Carries full. Ordered. Item 21-132. Ordered that the town council hereby considers and awards bids for fire training facility equipment. Roof vent up to the amount of $15,600 to be expended from the fire department capital reserve account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Yes, Stephanie.
What is a roof vent?
Well, in my mind, I think it's one of those things that go up in the ceiling, the attic that ventilates. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but incorrect in this instance.
Okay.
This actually should have read roof vent prop. What we did is myself and, excuse me, Lieutenant Travis Leary visited Farmington, because they got a grant for one of these two and built the same building. And they've discovered that for new people, They don't want to put them on the roof of the training facility because of the height and the steepness of the roof. Takes a 35-foot extension ladder to reach the roof, which is, yeah. Take a new guy and put him in a suit and a pack, and it's not good.
And this is without the ladder truck, correct?
Yeah, that's just a
Just going up a ladder.
basic training. You're not going to use the ladder truck.
Okay.
So, so it was decided that we would purchase a device that sits on the ground. Sits, the front edge of it is probably 6 or 8 feet off the ground, and then it's adjustable for the rake of the roof.
So the rate of the roof is the slant, the slope?
Right, the slope of the roof,
Yeah,
the pitch.
there we go.
So it allows us to simulate roof training without sending them 35 feet in the air
Okay,
Yes.
for the basics.
all right. Does this come already made, or does it have to be constructed?
It's made, it would have to be put together. It comes just a steel frame, and
So who will do this?
we can do it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it's simple, but it comes with instructions.
So you said this is something Farmington has?
They've already
And
put theirs up.
they like it, they think it's
Yes,
beneficial?
right. It's the way to go. And it saved us a little bit of money on the building itself because we didn't have those props put into the building.
It just saves the people, newbies, to train them on the ground and work their way up the building, correct? Or just
No,
simulate stuff?
this will sit beside the building, and it would be just like you took 8 feet in the air and you built a roof. Only it's steel frame. The structure itself is steel frame, and then we put 2x6s and plywood on it, which is what they cut. But you can change the pitch.
Pitch and elevation.
So there were 3 estimates that were brought in. One was for $6,279. One was for $15,600. What's the difference there? That's quite, what makes it?
The way it's constructed and what it's constructed out of, if we were going to do this for ourselves, just Fairfield, you might be able to use the $5,000 one, or whatever it was.
6,000.
But because this is going to be rented out or leased out and used by many different departments, we wanted something that was going to last but wasn't too complicated. This other one, it goes from $26,000 to $29,000. It's pretty complicated, put up and down. And this
So-
will stay permanently up once it's up. All we do is change the wood.
So it's because of the quality? Because of the quality of the product?
Yeah,
Okay.
Is it similar in size to the 8x8 or the 10x12?
So I think that's the structure.
Right there.
Oh, that's it.
that is like
Oh.
the one we're getting. We're going to set ours up on pillars, though, so it's a little higher off the ground. But as you can see, that will go to a peak roof, and then it will lay flat for a floor. They get to chop out all the plywood and,
So you can simulate this as a roof and a floor, too? The different,
How large is it?
I
10 by 16.
10 by 16? Okay.
I don't have, yeah.
Okay, I see it, yes, thank you.
So, and the reason why we're taking this currently from the capital reserve account is because of the construction of the training facility is still in progress, so we know what we have for state grant funds, we know what we have for the funds that we've received from the county. We haven't pulled out any of our TIF funds yet for this. So ultimately, what's going to end up happening is more than likely, this will actually get charged to the TIF money that was set aside for the training facility. But for right now, until we're done constructing the training facility, this is just coming out of this account to be purchased and.
So this is just additional training opportunity rather than,
It's an addition to our current training facility.
It's another prop.
okay, yep.
There's several props we're going to have to.
So
More good photos here.
I would like to amend that motion to include, it is a roof vent prop from, what was it, fire,
Roof vent portable unit.
It's from Fire Vent LLC.
fire vent, yes.
Peter, that was your second. Did you want?
Yep, I agree, yep.
Thank you.
Any more questions? All set? All in favor? Carries full.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we move on to item 21-133. Ordered that the town council hereby approves a medical marijuana dispensary license, the Cheese House Incorporated, permit number 2021-06,
So moved. Oh, I'm sorry.
and authorizes the town manager to sign and submit corresponding the Maine Office of Marijuana Policy, Maine Local Authorization Forms, in accordance with the Fairfield Land Use Ordinance Sections 6.4A and 9.20, and state statutes.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
This location, is it right after 139, 132, coming up the ramp, right there on that corner? How far from the road and turnpike? From the distance from that,
I have a map with a circle on it, if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, come on.
It meets all the required setbacks that I can tell you, because he wouldn't have made it through the planning board process if it hadn't, so.
So, Mr. Thomas, are you actually building a new building? You're not using one that's already there?
No, there's no building there, we're going to build a brand new one.
it's right on the corner there, Steph, because there's Evergreen, that building.
Right, but they're going to be before it.
It's right before that.
Yeah, yeah. Because that'll make the third structure. Or, because Montessori's down there too, right?
No, you're thinking. It's a different road.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about the one
This
where
is
Pike's
That
office
building's right
is.
there. This is come up 132.
Yeah.
There's Western Avenue, and there's Pike Road right there. They're right on the corner. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is.
So you're just going to take that little corner, all that lot there, because I know that whole lot was for sale.
Yeah, I bought the whole lot.
You bought the whole
I
lot.
bought the whole thing, it's all paid for.
It was Gary Hammond's property, it's where the Woodhouse building is,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and what used to be Northern Mattresses storage building.
Right.
It's that triangle, just as when you're going down into there, so the triangle that's created from Western Ave and that street.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
How much traffic you expect, because since that is going to be a busy intersection right there, and that 139 is busy already, how much traffic you expect daily and weekly?
The engineers moved the entrance all the way as far away from the main road, and they were headed down at 5.1 cars an hour or something like that.
Okay.
Okay, because we,
Pretty low.
yeah, because I know that road is very heavy in traffic and accident prone too.
That's why they moved the entrance down as far as they could so people could get in off the road and not have a
Okay.
problem.
I'm just worried about getting out of that Pike Road onto 139.
Can't be any worse than coming out of Dow's.
Right.
That's awful.
Oh, I know.
That store's so busy.
It's industrial road and everything else.
Busy place.
Accident prone down the whole road.
What happens when you get development, when
I
you
know
get what
that.
you wish for.
I know that. So there's a traffic management plan of an idea of, I know you just said how much traffic we there. I'm just wondering, any additional, like stop signs or things like that would be going there.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
That's part of the planning board's process for review. That's not something that we get
Okay.
into here.
All
So,
right.
and they have their parameters that they have to reach, as well as the fact that that is still technically a state road, so DOT has their
Mm-hmm.
driveway permit requirements that they have to meet and all of that, so all of that stuff's been done.
Yeah, because I know DOT goes down there, they have that pump, fuel down there, down in the center there, so they still go down there to get fuel and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Michael?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Anybody else? No other questions? All in favor? Carries full.
I wish you well, Mr.
Thank you
Tom.
very
You were licensed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, and now, moving on to the seventh order of business, which is council workshop and other business, to discuss other council business. Stephanie?
You've got nothing? Wow.
Well, I do have something. And it's back to Route 139 again. Michelle, what does it take for us to get some pedestrian signs up along Fish Hill?
Are there crosswalks?
No,
So the miracle?
a miracle?
An actress off.
I was out walking, we have quite a few walkers down in my section of Center Road, and some people are even out walking, like, as soon as it's light. You'll see them.
I see it once in a while.
And this week, I was walking down the hill in the ghost lane with the dog and my husband, and a big truck carrying something with, like, I think it was wood, decided he'd pull over to the ghost lane so the car in back of him could go by him.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I jumped right up on the
Wow.
grass, and Rick was just oblivious, but it's something that's building. Other neighbors have also said, we really need to have something there that
So
can,
there are no sidewalks on that major route of travel for a reason, and that is to discourage people using it for.
well, that makes it very hard if you're a taxpayer and you want to get out and enjoy the fresh air.
So I would recommend that you go walk in one of the parks, or maybe go up into one of the developments where the traffic isn't as heavy, but.
Oh, I'm not going to
down
take my
that major
car out
route
and
of
waste
travel-
gas to go and do that.
what
You
it
know.
is, since it's 139, it's a state road
Right.
owned by DOT. And the town only owns a certain distance from the center road to the edge. It's mostly all state.
We don't own any of it.
No.
Right,
It's all,
It's all state.
It's all state-owned.
Western Ave's the state,
So-
that's all the states.
Would we have to, if we wanted to ask the state to put in pedestrian
We certainly can ask them.
We
to-
could ask,
Yeah.
because it is, you know, with more and more people walking,
Yeah,
and just to go from one side to the other, I mean,
but they probably
they'd
will
laugh.
ask.
Well, probably.
We'll ask.
Thank you. That's all I have.
That's all you have?
Yes.
Okay. Michael?
Next.
Next. Okay, nothing really, other than the aspect of, I think, our biggest situation is the PFAS right now, from all of the articles that have appeared in the newspaper, and you know, what we're doing, and with what, discussing with Michelle and that, and getting public water out to the rural areas, I think is tremendously important, and something that we'll be concentrating on in the next year, at least, a couple of years, I suspect. And things like that, because
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of action on that coming up, and I think our main thrust is going to be in that particular level.
So,
Yep.
Because I see my road, there's a lot of traffic from the state and installers for the filters. Because I read the minutes from the planning board. I know the chair and the secretary mentioned their water is contaminated with filters. So is mine. I just had a filter system put in August. Retested again, I'm just waiting for another test. And my whole road is contaminated, except down in of Upper Hill Ridge Road. So my neighbors are scrambling now too. So,
there's currently 160 people that are affected throughout the entire community.
yeah.
About 66 of them have had filtration systems installed. Actually, more than 66 of them have
Right.
had filtration systems installed. 66 of them have had filtration systems installed with the secondary testing come back saying that their water is fine for consumption. We're still waiting on, we have a bunch that are supposed to be coming off the list this week, but they're still finding folks.
Is that,
all the time.
after the first test, will that get you down to the 20% level? Or just stating that the filter system is working and they take the person off?
What happens is the filtration system has to show that the water coming from the well after the filter is less than the 20 parts per trillion.
Okay.
And you don't come off the list until that happens. There have been a couple of filtration systems in which folks have come off, and then they've gone back in a couple of months and tested, and they've gone back on the list because they found that they're not working properly. A lot of that, from the ones that have happened to, which I think there's only like 2 or 3 of them, they think the discrepancy is the type of PFAS that's elevated in their wells, because it's not all the same kind of PFAS that's affecting everyone. So what they're finding is that while a filtration system might work fine for PFOA, it doesn't necessarily work fine for PFOS. That was the explanation that was given to me. So that's why they continue to monitor and make adjustments as need be and continue to watch them. But yeah, in order for you to be able to start drinking your water, it has to be below the 20 parts per trillion. And I believe most of them are coming back as NDs, which means not detectable, which means they're not having any level of PFAS in their water after it goes through the filtration system. And the other great component of all of this too is a lot of these folks had arsenic and radon, and these systems are designed to treat every possible contaminant that's known to be in their system.
Yeah, because they told me they can change the system out, charge it, take it back and study it.
Yep.
A lot of people don't understand that. So that's why.
So they have to figure, nothing's been done like this in this state on this scale, and so it's a learning process for everyone, and they might not get it right their first try on some of them, but they'll keep trying until it definitely is right, so.
Another question too, I know council meeting before, we discussed the possibility with all that funding we received from the state, how to spend it on. And I thought we would have another workshop before to really determine what we're going to spend it on.
Yeah, that will happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
When-
the money doesn't have to be spent until 2026,
Okay.
and we don't even have the other half yet. We
All
won't
right.
get that until,
When's we supposed to tell the state?
we don't have to tell the state what
Okay.
we're going to spend
All
it
right,
on.
so
in
it's
order
not
to
a
get it.
deadline.
We already have our first half. We only have to report to the state what we've spent it on, not what we're going to spend it on. So
Okay.
once it is spent, we tell
Okay.
them what it
So
was
we
for.
haven't spent anything yet?
We haven't spent anything
Okay.
yet.
All right.
It's all in a designated account.
All right. I just want to mention to all the residents who travel down Main Street or down Western Avenue, traffic is getting busier. Watch out for pedestrians in the walkways. There's a few signs out there, flashing signs. There were also a few pedestrians hit last week, especially one in a wheelchair. Drivers are not waiting for the rule is supposed to wait for the pedestrian to go through the whole walkway.
Yes.
The pedestrians, they're not. They're waiting.
it's not.
As soon as they get enough way, they go through it. I almost said a person in a wheelchair.
They have to be
came
out of your
inches.
lane.
What's that?
They have to be out of your lane.
No, it has to be out of the walkway completely. not out of their lane. Because people are rushing and this person must get hit. And this was viewed by a few residents.
Okay.
So they're supposed to be out, the person's supposed to be on the other side before they even go. Because people are, they almost hit me too, a couple of times.
So they must have amended the law then, so.
It's supposed to be, especially up to Blanders too, there's nothing up there, people just speeding through there, so.
Yeah, there's been, and there are a few wheelchair people that we have that are on those motorized wheelchairs that,
Yeah, so one almost got hit, and she's really in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
really crippled, so that was noticed. That's it.
okay. Mr. Cooper?
I'm fine.
Okay. Well, then, the next regular meeting of the Fairfield Council will be Wednesday, October 27th, 2021, to be held as a hybrid meeting via Zoom, council chambers at 6:30 PM. We will now go into recess and sign all documents that are required the signature of the council members.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
And we're in recess.